poquito a poquito.
Hi guys, welcome back to another Dissect a Song. So it is the month of May, which means like spring, it's full-blown spring at this point. Weather's looking pretty nice wherever you are. I think usually in the States, or if you're kind of above or near the equator at this point. Yeah, so weather's getting nice. I wanted to this month do something different. I'm gonna actually give you guys a Spanish song. So I know in the past I've been doing French and German because those are the languages I'm primarily teaching right now with one-on-one sessions. So I was like, okay, like, you know, because I like to give my students material to kind of corresponds with what they're working on with me. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to change it up. Let's do Spanish this time, you know. So for this season, I wanted to do an Alvaro Soler song. So he is primarily based in Spain. So that's pretty much the Spanish you're going to be seeing in this song. So be aware of that. So if you are a person who is learning Spanish, I don't know what specific dialect you're learning, because I know that I've been exposed a lot to Mexican Spanish because I have a friend who is in Mexico, and I've been there out to visit him. And then I have had friends who speak Latin American, United States. Yeah, they call it like United States, like American Spanish, because it's Spanish that's spoken in the U.S. I know that like my friend who is from Mexico, I remember when he came to LA on exchange, he said that like people here speak old Spanish, like your grandma came here and then they just kept speaking it. I didn't know that, like, I just didn't know that like Spanish can apparently go out of style, you know, or, you know, but yeah, so depending on what type of Spanish you're learning, this could be different, but if you are learning Spanish, this might be able to help you in that process as well. And plus, a lot of his songs are very like summery, like it's like really good road trips music. So I'm really excited to present this song. So I found his music on Lyrics Training, which I will link that below, because it's a really great website as well as an app that will help you learn and improve your listening skills through music. Highly recommend it. So let's get into the song. So the first line is siento, I feel, que me has robado en un momento. So that you have robbed me of this moment or a moment. So reflexives can be kind of tricky because it's like me has robado. So I always tell people to keep in mind, because sometimes people, especially in the beginning process of learning a language, they like to learn things word for word, and then like that it doesn't work that way across languages, because sometimes their grammatical structure may not make sense when you interpret it or translate it to English. So it's like me has mounted, or I have, sorry, I'm thinking a line ahead. Me has robado. Me, you have robbed or stolen, you know, something around that context. You have robbed me in this moment, like you've taken me, you know, kidnapped me or something like that. Que me he montado en un vuelo directo. This is really hard to like speak slow, because for me, I'm used to I train myself in the beginning to try to speak at like a natural, like native pace. So I'm like, okay, like, and then it's like, oh wait, no, I have to say it slower so you can get the pronunciation. Yeah. So, que me he montado en tu vuelo directo. So that that I have mounted, or I've mounted myself on your direct flight. So same thing with like French. The adjectives can sometimes go after, so that's why it's tu vuelo directo, which means your flight direct. So it's basically, I've mounted myself, I have mounted this. This is actually, I think, is like a past tense that's basically used as a, like in French we call it like plus que parfait, more than perfect. So it's like when you say I have done something, I have had something, or it's like an extra way of saying something. Or I think Yeah, it's like a way of like extra, yeah, adding extra words in there. You know, because there's like the past tense where you could just literally just, it's really short, you could just say it one word, but then then there's the perfect or the more than perfect tense, which is where you extend on it. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so I have mounted myself on your direct flight. So I'm mounting a flight, I'm ascending a flight. You're taking me somewhere and I have no idea, you know. Y hace que no me arrepiento. Again, like I said, slowing this down is hard. Yeah, and you got to get the hard R in there because it's a double R. So it's arrepiento. It took me forever to actually do that because I remember, like, as coming from a French learner to Spanish, I had to get used to the fact that you have to use another part of your mouth to make a particular sound. So particularly with R's, it's in the back of your throat. So I had to get used to using the front of my mouth and my tongue to use to pronounce these words. So it takes a lot of practice to get that hard R sound. Yeah. So arrepiento. Okay. So, and that makes me like, and it makes me not regret my decision, or it makes me feel like, or it makes me it makes it to where I don't change my mind, or I'm not backing out of it. Okay, so it's really hard to translate directly into English, but that's basically the gist of what it's saying. It's like, yeah, so, you know, you're stealing me in this moment. I'm going on your direct flight, and I'm not backing down. I can't, there's no turn, you know, it's like that point of no return where you're just like, screw it, let's go. You know, like, it's like, you know what have I got to lose? You know, and arrepiento, it basically can mean like I regret or I repent. So think of that like keyword, like as like a cognate in there. Okay, and then canto, I sing, porque eres tú la que controla el mando. So it's like, because you are that which controls the, like, control el mando. In my mind, I thought that like it's like you control the, like you are that which controls the authority, like you were the one that has the power. So it's like el mando can mean like command, it can mean like a director, it can mean some like leadership, it can mean authority, it can mean power. There's a couple different ways that can be used. Okay, so that's basically yeah, so that's basically what I would say there. And then cuando se va la luz del escenario, or escenario, because in Spain their accent is a little bit different, to where anytime you see a CI or a CE, then it's going to be a th, like it's like a lisp. Escenario. Yeah, I originally was learning Spanish before, you know, even when I started learning Spanish, I was like, I want to learn like the motherland Spanish first, and then kind of eventually branch out. And then of course I was exposed to, as I said, Mexican Spanish, because from my friend and then from who I was talking to. So yeah, yeah, so this is a pronunciation note. Yeah, and yeah, so this basically is when, like when we go out, like when the lights turn themselves off, like when the power goes out. So luz means lights. Also, that's the other thing. Anytime you see a Z or an X, or yeah, a Z, typically that will also be a th sound as well. Yeah. So yeah, CE, CI, and Z, or Z. So those typically you'll see as a th. Right? And yeah, so, and then next one is dirígeme que yo te canto. I think of like dirígeme as like the same, because they have the same word in French, and it basically means like to direct someone or to lead someone. Directe, I think that's what it is. I'll look it up. I don't use that word very often, but I know what it means because I've seen it pop up in reading content. Okay, so it's like to direct me, or it can also mean like, because this is also reflective, and sometimes when you have reflexive, you can sometimes see the reflexive pronoun at the end of the word, like blended into that word. So it's French accent, dirígeme. You can also, like, it would normally be like, you can also use like the pronoun me, like beforehand, but sometimes it's common to see both. They do that in Italian too, where you can put the pronoun, the reflexive pronoun, before the word or after. It's confusing, but it is what it is. Okay, directing me that I sing to you. So it's like if the power, the lights go out, to direct me that I sing to you. So it's like I'm just singing to you, like you direct. I really, yeah, this is a little confusing, but it's also like or it can also mean like to go to, like, because dirigirse, which is the infinitive form of this, it means like you can say like to fix your eyes on something, like dirigirse la mirada, which means like to fix your eyes on something, mirada hacia, yeah. Like it can mean like to speak to someone. It can mean like to write, to like I'm writing to you because of a reason, like to go to or to walk to. So there's a lot of different contexts of that. So I can leave that up to interpretation there. And so the next paragraph says, Cuando estoy contigo, when I am with you, siento que me pierdo en el río. So I feel that I've lost myself in the river. Y te digo al oído. And I say to you in your ear. And I think that's ear. Yeah. It's correct. Because I've seen that word before. Like, I think it means like I think it's just basically like saying like, and I'm speaking to you, like, because I know like oye basically means like to hear, so like in your ear, to like hearing, something like that. Like I said, this is really, for me, I understand what they're trying to say, but it's just really sometimes hard to put it into English, because it's like, how do you unscramble that? You know. Yeah. So there's that. So basically, in the nutshell, he's basically saying, and I say to you, like, to, you know, in order to hear. Esta noche somos tú y yo. So this night, or tonight, esta noche, it basically means like this night, but we don't really say that in English. It would be tonight. You know, we are you and I. Okay. Histerico, tu ritmo me pone histérico. Hysterical, your rhythm places me. Poner means like to place or to set something down. So it puts me in hysterical, like, you know, hysteria, or like, yeah, like hysteria. Like, we all know what that is in English. At least I hope. Yeah, like your rhythm just puts me in hysteria. Dale amigo, ton ton ton. So dale, I remember hearing this a lot in a Netflix series. It was called Millennials. It's an Argentinian soap opera kind of. I think that's what it is, but there's 2 seasons on Netflix. I recommend it. It's like the modern day version of Friends. It's like Friends, but like updated. I noticed that a lot of times they'll say dale, dale. I used to hear that all the time. Sometimes we hear Pitbull saying it, you know, in his songs. But dale is like a way of saying, like, come on. Like, it's like, oh, like, dale amigo. Like, let's go, friends. You know, dale amigo. Let's go, friend. And then ton ton ton. That's just kind of like, I think that's like a sound effect. You'll kind of like, will hear that like when you hear the song. Yo te freno muy poquito a poquito. So it's like you, like I hold you back little by little. Little by little. It's like saying, like, because frenar means like to stop someone or to hold someone back. So like, yo te freno muy poquito a poquito. So it's like saying like, like I'm holding you back very, very little. So it's like I can't hold you back. You know, you're just taking me somewhere, and I'm just kind of, I'm not, you know, you're not stopping because I'm not doing anything that's really making you stop. So I'm just going with it. Okay. And then it says again, histérico a tu lado. Histerico a tu lado, tan histérico. So a tu lado basically means like at your side, like next to you. So it's like in French we do the same thing. We say à ton côté, like to your side, but it can also mean like next to you. Like in French you would say à côté de, like to the side of, or you know, or the coast of, like next, like anything that is next to you is à côté de toi. So in the same thing with Spanish is a tu lado. Yeah, a tu lado. Tan histérico. So tan histérico, like very hysterical. Okay? And again it says dale amigo ton ton ton, yo te freno muy poquito a poquito. And then it goes into the next part that says porque nadie baila como tú y yo, because nobody dances like you and I. Porque nadie canta como tú y yo, because no one sings like you and I. Porque nadie arranca como tú y yo. So arranca, I looked this up because I remember when I first heard this song, I was just like, I don't know necessarily what that means, but I'm going with it. You know, like when you listen to foreign music, at least when you listen to it with like more of like an open mind, is that you're just kind of going with the flow of the song. So arranca basically means like to start something. It can mean like, and like to start, it's kind of like when you like go out to like the club, or like, you know, you go out with your friends and it's like, you know, you start something up, like, you know, to start something up. It can also mean to like boot something up, like a computer, to like pull up something, uproot. But it can also mean like in a colloquial sense to like burst out into something. So it's like nobody bursts out like we do. Like no one comes out to the club like we do, you know, something like that. Like nobody does it like us, you know. Yeah. And then poquito a poquito. So little by little to little, or very little. Okay, and then the next one is quiero, which means like I want, or I want. Like if you've ever heard someone say te quiero is like a friendly way of saying you like someone. You know, it's like the difference between saying te quiero and then te amo. Because one means like, oh, I like you, and the other one's like, I love you, you know. So quiero, it means I want. Contarte cada uno de mis miedos. I want to tell you, remember that reflexive pronoun at the end, contarte, each one of my fears. Alimentarme de todos tus besos. So it's like alimentarme. It kind of reminds me of a word that's similar in French, but so my assumption originally was that like it means like to feed something, because like there's a word like aliment, which basically is like food or like a snack or something like that, in the context. So it means relatively the same thing here. It means like to feed or to nourish or to be fueled by. So it's like to be fueled by all of your kisses. Okay. Quiero decirte que te quiero. I want to tell you that I love you. Oh, that's so nice. Sube al coche. Subir is a verb that basically means like to climb or descend onto something, or it can mean to get on or get in. So it's like saying we're going to get in the car. So that's basically from the context, because you don't ascend a car, you get into it. So same context here. You get in your car. Sube al coche. No tengo rumbo, solo un horizonte. So I don't have a path. Rumbos is like paths, course, like a direction you're going. So it's like I don't have any directions of where I'm going, like GPS. I have no idea. Solo un horizonte. only the horizon. Remember the accent I told you about the Z? In most other Spanish speaking countries, you would see it as un horizonte. Remember, horizonte for Spain, Spaniard, Spanish. Okay, haremos que se paren los relojes. So this is actually a future tense, haremos. So it means like we will make or we will do. That appears, se paren los relojes. So it means like we'll make it seem, we will make them seem like the clocks. I think it's like more like in the context of we're gonna stop. We're gonna make it seem like clocks don't matter. Time has stopped, you know. And then the next one is aquí no piden pasaporte. So it's here they won't, like they're not asking for passports. They're not asking for passports. And then it repeats again. Y cuando estoy contigo. Sometimes, like when they speak at a normal pace, you start noticing that certain words or sounds start getting like jumbled together. So sometimes, like, you know, you might like, and especially I've noticed that like many Spanish speakers, based on the fact that their language has a very consistent flow, to where it just feels like one long continuous word, like sentence. I mean, you have to really be paying attention. At least in my case, I feel like sometimes I have to pay attention that like, oh, they're speaking in words, it sometimes feels like they're talking in sentences, but like the sentences feel like it's like, it just keeps going and you're like, wait, is that a sentence? Like it just feels kind of like there's a flow into the next. So I'm kind of just like, so there's certain things that you may not like fully pick up, at least like from beginners. So, I mean, I remember when I heard this song, I was like, I picked up a few words, but it just felt like it just goes, yeah. So like when you're listening to people at a natural pace, it sometimes feels like they're just like riding right through, and I'm like, I missed half of what they said. Yeah. Y cuando estoy contigo, siento que me pierdo en el río. So, yeah. And then when it gets to the next one, the main thing is, you know, it's the same thing. Histerico, tu ritmo me pone histérico, dale amigo, ton ton ton. And then this part, it changes. It says, yo te llevo muy poquito a poquito. So it's saying, I am driving you, or I'm carrying you very little. Like, so it's like, you're doing all of this. This is you. So I think like, and basically just continues on for the whole rest of the song. I know this is like relatively a short song to really interpret or to translate, because it's like there's a lot in songs. There's always repetition, so I don't want to like rehash things that are already been discussed. But I think that like this song really is just in a general sense talking about going on an adventure with someone. I mean, when you think about it, you know, talking about you know, like que me he montado en tu vuelo directo. Like it's like I'm boarding your direct flight. So it's like you're taking me somewhere there's no directions, like no tengo rumbos, solo un horizonte. Like there's no directions, only the horizon. We're just going with the flow. And I feel like that's kind of like how it feels like, especially during like, you know, when you're at that point in a relationship where you're just kind of like, we're going on a road trip, you know, we're going out together, or we're doing something and we're just having fun and we're going with it. You know, especially when he says, porque nadie baila, canta, arranca como tú y yo. Like nobody does it like us. Like, you know, it's like when we go out, like we're having the best of times, and it's just basically us two. So I feel like in that sense, I mean, I love his songs anyway because it's about basically having fun. I feel like there's another song of his that I really, really like. It's called, it's on the same album as this. It's called La Libertad, like the freedom or the liberty, same general context. And that song kind of has the same feel where it's like, we're just going with the wind, we're going with the flow, and we're just going to see where life takes us. And it kind of makes me feel like, you know, as an adult, I feel like people lose that sense of mystery, or the love of mystery, because I was telling my dad the other day is that it just feels like it just feels like, you know, like life becomes so manufactured sometimes. Like when you're a kid, people ask you, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then you go to school for that. And then you go to college, and then you do that job, you work 40 years and you retire, and that's your life. And the thing is I don't like, for me as someone who is an entrepreneur, it spends a lot of time taking risks and hoping and praying that things will work out. You know, as any other entrepreneur would be, is that I just feel like you lose the mystery of knowing that there are a lot of positive things. And I think that it's really important to not lose your sense of unpredictability, because do it now, be curious, explore what the world has to offer. And I think that you will, I mean, you'll find things that you don't like, but for the most part, you will find things that you do like. So I hope that this has been inspiring, and I hope that this helps you, any Spanish learners who want to get exposure to different artists and kind of like listen to their music and kind of understand somewhat of what they're saying. So I'll see you next month on this series.